Okay, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lonely Solo podcast, and this is episode 13 of my solo side quest. As always, guys, we're going to talk about a wide range of topics. Today's episode is probably going to be more MMA and boxing based, but let's get straight into it. So, we got a new fight announced for UFC 313, where King Green, but Bobby Green will take on Mauricio Ruffy. Ruffy's a fighter with a lot of hype, a fighter that I've seen a few fights of, and I think he's someone that Evan from the Lonely Solo podcast really put me onto for his style and, you know, his slickness of striking. Of course, he's one of the guys from Fighting Nerds as well. So Ruffy's been in the UFC for just over a year and a half, I want to say. Yeah, a year and a half. He's been in the UFC for a year and a half. He successfully earned his contract from the Dana White Contender Series, and he's 2-0 in the UFC, and this will be his third fight against Bobby Green. And Bobby Green's a very hard guy to having a third fight, but Bobby Green's a experienced veteran, a good striker. Ruffy's a striker too. Ruffy's probably more dynamic on the feet, to be fair. Green is a lot more boxing heavy. But in this sort of example, you've got to want to sort of lean towards the younger guy, where Bobby Green's lost 2 of his last 3 fights, got submitted by Paddy Pimblett in the first round in July. Wasn't a good performance, really, from Green, considering how much he talked leading up to that fight, but Bobby Green always talks. But really early predictions for this, because we'll probably cover this again on the Lonely Solo podcast when we do like a full card breakdown, but I'll probably be picking Ruffy for this one. Even though Paddy Pimblett submitted Bobby Green, he's still got a bit of a chin. He's been knocked out a few times, though, to be fair. He can take a bit of a shot, but Bobby Green at 38, taking those knees and elbows and punches and kicks from Mauricio Ruffy, I don't like it for him. But we'll see. We'll see when how Bobby Green comes into this fight. We'll see how Ruffy's looking coming into this fight. But super early predictions is that Mauricio Ruffy beats Bobby Green when they fight at UFC 313. What else have we got here? Oh, this is an interesting one. So, Glory Kickboxing has announced they're hosting a 32-man heavyweight tournament with open invitation. Now, it's the sort of thing that you love to see in kickboxing. Glory being the largest kickboxing organisation in the world, I'd say. In terms of kickboxing only, you've got ONE FC doing some big things with Muay Thai, but Muay Thai is not kickboxing, they are different. So Glory, is the biggest kickboxing company in the world, and was home of the biggest kickboxers, or some of the biggest MMA stars that were kickboxers previously, in Israel and Alex Pereira. Both guys that fought in Glory for a good few years and even fought each other in Glory, were Glory champions, fought for the championships. But yeah, Glory CEO had announced that a handful of participants had been confirmed, but it's an open invitation as well. And this will be, what it says, will be the biggest tournament in 2025, and that's no exaggeration. You know, a 32-man tournament, you do not see that very often. You don't see that in MMA. You don't see it. Definitely don't see it in boxing. You don't see it in kickboxing. It's very rare largely because of the logistics of it. The logistics of organising a 32-man tournament, single elimination tournament, is very, very difficult. And I do not envy the Glory CEO of having to work out the logistics of doing that. And this tournament's going to be called the Last Heavyweight Standing Tournament, which is a pretty jokes name. Some of the fights that have been announced for the tournament, these guys, I've got no idea who these guys are, so if I butcher their names, apologies. Bahram Rajabzanat. Oh, yeah, no, this ain't happening, bro. That was not a good idea to even attempt that. But for you guys who watch Glory, I mean, I don't know if we've got a lot of guys that watch Glory on here, but for you guys that watch Glory, do you know any of these guys that have been announced for the tournament? I'm not even going to attempt to say their names. They're definitely foreign, definitely not English or American names, but do you know any guys in these tournaments? I guess we'll be trying to wait and find out who else sort of declares for this, because it's an open tournament. They've announced how many guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've announced 8 guys. There's still 24 slots open, so Be super curious to see what other heavyweights will go for this. Will they be, any guys from MMA that want to dip their toe into the kickboxing realm? Or, yeah, super interested to see what happens there. But, yeah, I guess we'll keep you posted on any news that happens with the Glory Heavyweight Kickboxing Tournament. But I guess as we go into 2025, we'll be seeing more and more news regarding that. What else have we got here? Oh, yes, and we've got Francis Ngannou being offered a title shot in bare knuckle boxing. Which is interesting. It's interesting. I mean, to be fair, if I was Ben Rothwell, who's their current bare knuckle boxing heavyweight champ, there is no way on earth you're letting me. There's no way on earth I'm fighting Francis Ngannou bare knuckle. You'd have to be clinically insane to agree to that, in my opinion. Like, no amount of money, unless you're getting paid damn near 9 figures to take those shots, there's no way I'm doing that. And even the risk on Ngannou's side is not that good of a deal, to be fair, because you win the bare knuckle boxing heavyweight championship, then what? Like, you're going to be a bare knuckle boxer now? I don't think so. I don't think the money's that great, and at the age Francis is, that's not a good move. Francis is 38. He's been on the wrong end of some fights. He's been stopped. He got brutally knocked out by AJ, but yeah, brutally knocked out by AJ. But I don't know if Francis wants to take that. Francis has said he'll fight anyone, which of course he has. He's a fighter, in his heart. And to be fair, the way it's going at PFL, he may not even have a job there for much longer, because PFL seem to be hemorrhaging money. They lost loads of money on that Francis event. So I'm not surprised that PFL are sort of open to exploring these options with Francis, where the UFC was never open to exploring any of these options, because they knew what they had with Francis, a guy who potentially could have gone on to be a real star for the UFC. And to be fair, even if PFL does sort of go out of business, which it probably won't happen immediately, but if it happens kind of soon, Ngannou could earn a serious bag if he was to come back to the UFC and was to get an instant title shot against someone like Aspinall or John Jones. I mean, to be fair, the money he would have made from boxing alone is enough for him to retire, obviously. And then got a huge bag in the PFL fight. And if he was to get another bag going back to the UFC, he's eating, bro. He's eating. But I guess if Francis is open to it, McGregor's offered it to Francis, the PFL owners saying, it's likely that Francis will box this year. Francis saying he'll fight anyone. Gone off the fight. We could be seeing Francis Ngannou v Ben Rothwell for the BKFC Heavyweight Championship. Jesus, I mean, those words really just came out of my mouth. And wow. Francis should win it if he wants to fight in a bare knuckle boxing match. But like I said in the last episode 12, that when you're talking about bare knuckle, anything can happen. Of course there's skill involved. It is still boxing, but there's way less ability to defend yourself because there's no gloves. You can have a perfect guard and a knuckle still kind of slips through and nicks you and rocks you, cuts you, bruises you, busts your nose, busts your eye, busts your lips, busts an eardrum, hits you in the temple, you lose your equilibrium. These things, any of this can happen in a bare knuckle boxing match. So as much as we'd like to be like, yeah, Francis is the better boxer, so he should win. Yes, he is, so he should win. But that doesn't really mean anything in bare knuckle boxing. Because Ben Rothwell, to be fair, Ben Rothwell will be very gun shy against Francis, and rightfully so. Ben Rothwell's an old man, and Francis is one of the most devastating punchers in MMA history. So Ben Rothwell would be smart to be gun shy against Francis Ngannou. So, and that sort of hesitation could, and probably would mean that Francis would just knock out Ben Rothwell pretty simply in 20 seconds. But like I always say, in bare knuckle, anything can happen. So let's see what happens there. let's see what happens with it. If Francis ever ends up going to bare knuckle boxing. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, an interesting one where I guess Lennox Lewis was asked if Deontay Wilder could knock out a prime Mike Tyson. What we're talking about here is the two most devastating punchers in modern heavyweight history. Mike Tyson, of course, a prime Mike Tyson is a Mike Tyson who wins the world title at 18. Mike Tyson from like 19 to like 21, 22 is probably like a prime Mike Tyson. A prime Mike Tyson. So you're putting him against a prime Deontay Wilder, Deontay Wilder was probably before the first Fury fight. Going into that first Fury fight was like a prime Mike Tyson, just touch of death. You know, awful boxer, but he only needs to land one punch. So that's what we're saying when we're saying prime both of these guys. So we're saying going into the first Tyson Fury fight, prime Deontay Wilder, and prime Mike Tyson from like 18 to 21 when he wins the first world title. In this case, prime Mike Tyson was a very hard boxer to hit, and is a lot smaller than Deontay Wilder. He's going to have a lot lower centre of gravity. So what I'm going to see in this fight, if it was to happen, from the get-go, Mike Tyson's coming in low, and he's pressuring, he's pushing Deontay against the ropes, taking away that reach, and it's ripping the body. Now, obviously the Mike Tyson I'm talking about is a prime Mike Tyson. I'm not talking about Mike Tyson that fought Roy Jones or Mike Tyson that fought Jake Paul, that could hardly move, could hardly throw a punch, and was biting on gloves because he's cooked mentally. I'm talking about Mike Tyson, who's, you know, still got the warrior spirit, still in amazing shape, no real injuries yet, and defensively, again, something people really forget about Mike Tyson is how good he was defensively. Yes, he was quick. Yes, he had monstrous power, but you could hardly hit him. And you could hardly hit him clean as well. If you could hit him, you couldn't hit him clean. Because he was so low, he was bobbing, he was weaving, he was spinning, he was shifting, he was quick. And yes, he was very powerful. So in that case, you've got to see Mike Tyson just walking him down. I mean, not walking him down, but pressuring him, putting him against the ropes, essentially taking away Deontay Wilder's height and reach advantage with that pressure, putting him against the ropes, because Deontay Wilder's best punch is the cross or the straight. It's a 1-2. Against the ropes, when you've got Mike Tyson digging your body, you're not landing a 1-2. You're not landing a 1-2. Deontay Wilder wouldn't even be able to land a jab on Mike Tyson, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Deontay Wilder, his jab wouldn't even land on Tyson. You know, and once Tyson's got him against the ropes, he's ripping to the body, and then when he's got his guard down, he's hitting him to the head. And we've seen Deontay Wilder can get put on his ass. He got put on his ass by Tyson Fury, and Mike Tyson punches 1,000,000 times harder than Tyson Fury. So it seems like Lennox Lewis agrees with me as well, rightfully so, because we've both got amazing boxing IQ, so no real surprises there. But Lennox Lewis agrees with my thesis in that Mike Tyson would probably knock out Deontay Wilder. A prime Mike Tyson would knock out Deontay Wilder with a lot of ease. I think even past his prime Mike Tyson, even the Mike Tyson that fought Lennox Lewis, he would still have some joy. He may not win, because by that time Tyson was a lot slower, had some injuries, and was a lot easier to hit because he's so much slower and less athletic. The power's still there. Don't get it twisted. The power is still there. But in terms of his game plan in the fight that I was talking about first, when he'd be able to use his athleticism and youth and defensive ability to really stay low and avoid the punches and then rip the body and rip the head, Tyson won't have that anymore. He won't have that defensive speed. And where I was saying before, Deontay Wilder probably wouldn't land a jab. Deontay Wilder probably would land some jabs. And if he's landing jabs, then he's probably going to land the two. And if an old Mike Tyson could not take a cross from Deontay Wilder, could not take a straight from Deontay Wilder, no chance. A 2002 Mike Tyson, 2001, 2002 Mike Tyson is not taking a clean 1-2 from Deontay Wilder. He's getting put on his ass. But I guess the article is, would a prime Mike Tyson beat Deontay Wilder? And a prime Mike Tyson would beat Deontay Wilder. So yeah, that's it. That's going to be it from me, guys. It's been another episode in the bag. This is Seth Solo Side Quest episode 13. This is. So really racking up the episodes, dishing out the content for you guys, and yeah, stay posted for more. And I'm out. Peace.